Good evening from the Channel's newsroom in London. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been formally indicted on corruption charges just hours after the embattled leader announced that he would be withdrawing his bid for parliamentary immunity for prosecution. Netanyahu has been charged with bribery and fraud and breach of trust in 3 separate corruption cases.
From the very beginning of next week, he will have a new house, the Central Court in Salahuddin. He will be a recurrent visitor because he is charged with a very serious charge. Netanyahu should leave his office and should resign. All the attempts of the impeached President Trump to help his partner Benjamin Netanyahu will fail.
Israel's longest-serving Prime Minister is currently in Washington for meetings with US President Donald Trump for the unveiling of the Israel-Palestinian peace plan, which Palestinians have already rejected. President Xi Jinping has met with the head of the World Health Organization in Beijing in an attempt to find ways to protect Chinese and foreigners in areas affected by the deadly coronavirus. Last week, the organization's independent panel twice declined to declare the outbreak an international emergency. As the public health outcry increases, the decision is likely to be reconsidered.
So first, it definitely is an emergency. It's an emergency in China. But I would beg to differ on the definition of what you just put out as in wildly spreading. So far, it's going back with travelers to foreign countries, whether it's the home country of somebody or a traveler as such. It's not wildly spreading outside of China. But again, we have to be prepared for in case it would.
Earlier, authorities in India, South Korea and Japan announced they'll be sending charter flights to the region to evacuate their citizens from Wuhan province. In nearby Hong Kong, leader Carrie Lam has announced plans to suspend high-speed rail and ferry links. In Europe, too, the virus is spreading. A spokesperson for the German car parts company Webasto, where 2 employees have tested positive for the coronavirus, have said they have stopped all travel from and to China for the next 2 weeks. So far, none of the more than 100 deaths have occurred outside China. Measures to prevent a global health emergency remains the top priority for public health officials. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has approved plans to allow Chinese telecoms firm Huawei a role in building the UK's 5G phone and data network. Despite huge pressure from US President Donald Trump to ban the company amid spying fears, the British government's National Security Council decided to give it limited access to the new high-tech infrastructure. Liz Cheney, one of the most senior Republicans in the US House of Representatives, accused Johnson of choosing the surveillance state over the special relationship. 5G is considered one of the biggest innovations since the birth of the internet. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has called for an election on September the 19th, a contest that will test her popularity, which soared after her response to a terror attack last year, but has since taken a hit due to economic issues.
Thanks, everyone.
Following the announcement, Simon Bridges, leader of the opposition National Party, said his party had experience leading the country with a stable and competent hand. 39-year-old Ardern has won praise globally for her views on women's rights, climate change and diversity. French police have cleared Paris's last remaining makeshift campsite, which was home to more than 1,000 migrants living in what has been described as squalid conditions. Since the closure of a huge migrant camp in Calais in 2016, many refugees have moved to the capital. The government has since been under huge pressure to take a tough stance on illegal settlers. The migrants appear to be mainly from North Africa, the Middle East and Asia, many of them fleeing countries blighted by wars and poverty. Police faced no resistance during the operation. And finally, the future of design has been showcased in all its digital glory at the world's first AI Artathon, which has taken place in Riyadh. The competition was made up of 300 participants who had flown in from across the world, and all are experts in graphic design, art and data science. These skills are then used to create these dazzling masterpieces. Organised by the Saudi Data and Artificial Intelligence Authority, the Artathon is part of the kingdom's global AI summit set to kick off in March. The top 10 pieces will be selected to exhibit at the summit. The top 3 will share a prize fund of $133,000. And that's your international news around the world in 5.